You see, I built this organisation out of nothing. So you continue to do it my way, because that's how I like it.
Now, in episode 2, we learn a secret that Walter Flynn is suffering from a similar issue that his wife died from, and this could very well change the entire Flynn power structure. But it also makes sense as to why he's pushing the family business on Vic Flynn, because he wants to make sure that he's ready to take over when the time comes. But more importantly, take over the business the way Walter Flynn wants him to take over, because he has a certain way of doing things. But what's going to cause a huge shift in this power structure within the Flynns is Tommy wanting to take control over Chicago, and Claud Flynn also wants to gain some sort of power, because I'm sure we can all see she's definitely not content with just doing the books. So in this video, we're going to look at how Claud needs to use principle of law 1 from the 48 laws of power and the Flynn family in more detail, but bringing everything together with Tommy's storyline with the Flynns, and how he could very well offer Walter Flynn a business proposal that would be too damn good to turn down. But let's set the foundation to this video with the foundation that Tommy actually set in episode 2, because he didn't interact with any of the Flynns, and that was probably a wise choice after his introduction and chaos that he caused in killing one of the Yardies, smashing Simon and squaring up to Vic Flynn. Tommy was then taken to Walter Flynn, where he gave back Vic's bag of drugs and money, but was also warned by Walter to leave Chicago and never look back. So instead of interacting with the Flynns, we saw Tommy interacting and working the angle of Diamond and the CBI, which I went through in this video. Now, which ended up with Tommy taking out Rojas' men, which gave this reaction from Jannard, Diamond and Elijah of oh fuck. But it also meant in the long term, the CBI may well owe him a favor for taking out the people that went after Diamond. But more importantly, Tommy now knows the routes and the people that he can start building his network and organization around because of the 8 drops he had to do. And this is something which he can bring to Walter Flynn, along with the drug that Claud introduces him to, and possibly making him an offer that he can't refuse, with a new drug, a network, and Tommy himself. Because he's the glue and the man who can make things happen, which could open up a new revenue stream for all of them. So in the long term, Tommy definitely will be working with the Flynns, and we're going to see him working with them from episode 3. But before he did that, he needed to make his mark on Chicago, because he saw at first hand just how powerful Walter Flynn is and the strength in numbers that he has. And that's what he put in motion in episode 2. For example, Diamond must have been thinking, with the privileged circumstance that Tommy has, which got him out of this situation with a police officer, Diamond must have been thinking, maybe it isn't such a bad thing to have someone like Tommy on your side. So with that being said, before we come back to Tommy working with the Flynns and the issues that this could cause, we need to understand the Flynn family and what they stand for, the business that they're currently in, and the issues that they have in-house, without Tommy making shit worse for them, because Tommy is someone who never follows instructions and always brings trouble with him. But what business are the Flynn family in exactly? Because it was made clear to us in episode 1 that they definitely don't deal in coke, because Claud Flynn told us it brings way too much heat and attention from law enforcement, which should expose their legit front. And we as power fans know, it brings gang wars, violence, death, and a whole load of consequences. Now, when Tommy was doing his research, this article told us that the Flynns were involved in a major counterfeiting ring with full mob bosses, printing $5 bills and sending them into circulation, but they're selling some sort of drug, which was made clear to us in episode 2. But a drug which Claud said was outdated and old, which I'm going to come back to later on in this video. Now, we saw Vic doing the collections when he went to Gloria's bar, because that's the position that Walter Flynn has Vic playing, while he has Gloria doing the books. But she's not happy just doing the books for the family, she wants more. But whenever she voices her opinion, notice how we always see this angry outburst from Walter, which are mainly in Claud's direction, and that's because he's old school and has an old way of doing things. And we're going to come back to Claud and Walter Flynn's relationship in just a moment, because there was a huge moment in the last episode, which revealed that Walter Flynn is dying from a similar illness which took Vic and Claude's mother, and he seems like he's too stubborn to get his tests and scans done, because he was completely ignoring the doctor's calls, and maybe because he's accepted death already, something which you can't escape from. A complete contrast to someone like Detective Howard, because when he found out he needed a transplant and the only person that could give him this was Kanan, he was trying to do everything he could do to meet his son and maybe convince him. But Walter Flynn's inevitable death, however it happens and whenever it happens in season 1, season 2 or 3, his death will cause an entire power shift within the Flynn's organization, and to make things worse, he has Vic and Claud trying to carve out their own paths. And this is why we're seeing Walter push the business on Vic, but also why Tommy's introduction is the perfect time for Walter just before he passes the mantle over to his son. Now, Vic's loyalty is the biggest issue here. He loves Gloria and he wants to do his own thing, because you can clearly tell he hates the fact that his father has carved out his own path for him, because with Walter, it's his way and only his way. So Vic's love for Gloria is a huge issue in this situation, because he's also told his father that he's ready to step up and he won't let him down. But with Claud, from the very first episode where she was sitting in the boss's chair, it was clear from day one that she one day wants to be the head of the Flynn family herself, and she doesn't believe that Vic has what it takes. But we saw Walter putting Claud back in the position that he has her playing, which is the books, telling her that what is she supposed to do with these hands. But is he underestimating what Claud can do and what she's capable of? I definitely think he is, because she is definitely a fire starter and someone who's not afraid to put shit in motion. But something she needs to learn to do is use principles of Law 1, never outshine the master, especially when her father is an old school gangster who's stuck in his ways of doing business. Now, Claud told him that what they were selling was outdated because there are so many other drugs on the market and they needed something exclusive. But this is where we saw yet another outburst from Walter, because when you try and outshine the master, you'll suffer this backlash. So sometimes it's better to go your own way and make things happen and present them to the leader instead. So with that being said, let's tie this in with Tommy, because according to Claude's character description, she's someone who doesn't need the green light or permission to set things in motion, and she's someone who's determined to carve out her own path, and one that might save her family in the end. And it definitely will involve saving the family from Vic's betrayal in my opinion. But first, this exclusive drug that she wants Walter Flynn to adopt, this is something which she found through Mai, and something which she's going to try and sell. But with Walter shutting her down a few times already, there is just no way he's gonna go for it coming from Claud. But what if Claud got into business with Tommy and introduced this drug to him that would kick his teeth in 1,000 times over, which in return, he could introduce to Walter Flynn, because Tommy is everything Walter Flynn wants Vic to be. He knows the game, he's got balls, which Walter Flynn will like, and he knows how to move and handle himself. In episode 2, he showed Diamond and the CBI what he's about and what he can do. But now he's about to show the Flynns what he can do and what he's capable of. So, coming full circle to the beginning of the video, Tommy is someone who in episode 2 was clocking the routes and all the buyers for Rojas' product. So he's got a whole network of buyers ready who would potentially need a new connect instead of Rojas' crew. And this is a whole new revenue stream that he could potentially offer Walter Flynn. So Tommy could well have a business proposal that Walter Flynn may not be able to refuse, and this is when Walter may start to wonder whether Vic is the best person to take over the family business, which will definitely start to cause a big fraction within the Flynns and Vic especially. Just like how I spoke about Jannard being jealous in my video yesterday, I feel it's definitely going to be the same case for Vic Flynn. So with time running out for Walter, it is definitely time to make a choice soon. Does he stick with his old school ways, or will Tommy force his way in? I think we all know the answer. So drop all your thoughts down below on the Flynn family's power structure and how Vic could go against the family with Claud picking up the pieces. So drop all your thoughts down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 4 Force and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.